Welcome back, coders. In this video, I'm going to start a little series on the basics of how to make a platformer. I had a lot of students this year decide to make a platformer, so wanted to teach them actually how to make it on their own using what we know how to do already in the course. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little platformer here that has a little guy that can jump, bonk his head, fall with gravity, climb ladders, double jump, and all that good stuff, all coding ourselves, right? Not really borrowing any scripts. So you'll understand if you ever decide to grab your own code, what's going on right behind the scenes. So here we go. First thing, you'll see the sprites I use for the player here, the little skeleton from Gamemaker. You'll see right there, I've modified the mask to make it the full image. So normally it might be set to automatic, and you can see the collision box, right? The mask for this guy isn't quite the full 32 by 32 pixels. Now, for today, and for these tutorials, I'm always going to be using the full image. So basically my character is considered a 32 by 32 box. This way, as the sprite changes in its animation, gets skinnier and fatter, the way that the program sees the sprite, it always sees it like this box. And this can save a lot of trouble later on. We'll explain at another point. So I would recommend full image for your animated person, and same thing with the wall. Modify the mask full image, and your ladders or whatever else you're going to use here. Okay, now we can get started. So let's go to the player. We're going to be coding everything in the step event. Okay, we're not going to be using GameMaker speed. We're not going to use GameMaker's direction. We're going to be checking the keyboard ourselves and moving the player ourselves with variables. So, step event. Go in here, and I've put a tiny bit of code to get us started. I'm going to look at just the X direction in this video. So here we go, left and right. I'm asking, is the keyboard currently got the right arrow key pressed down? So basically, does the player want to move right? If they do want to move right, what I'm doing is I'm not actually going to move them right. So some people may be tempted. They want to go, okay, well then make the player's X get bigger by 4 so they move over 4. The problem with that is maybe 4 pixels to the right, you have a wall. So what this code I have up here is doing, it's using one of GameMaker scripts that saves us a little bit of time, is place meeting. Place meeting is a script that sends us back true or false, depending on whether or not we would be hitting a wall at this location. So basically it picks up your object, the player, and it pretends that they were right here at that location, so 4 pixels to the right, and sees if they would hit a wall. Now, I'm not concerned so much of if they are going to hit a wall. I want to know if they're not going to hit a wall. So here I'm saying if not meeting a wall 4 pixels to the right at my same height. That's a good case. There's no wall there. Then I can move the player 4 pixels to the right. So increase their X variable. Let's give that a go. Convince ourselves this works nicely. And then we'll show you a little extra fix or two we got to do on here. So I'm holding the key down, I'm moving 4 pixels, which by the way, it's the same thing as if you had set the speed to 4. And you'll see, right when it hits this point, 4 pixels more over, and he would be overlapping the wall, right? This 32 by 32 box for my player would be on top of a wall, so it's not running the code, and he stops. Now that's not bad, but I want to show you something. 7, 7. 4 works nicely because the grid of the room is a nice 16 by 16 snapped grid. So if I keep moving 4 every time, I'm always going to be beautifully in line with the grid. Now the problem is that if you don't want to move 4, you're not going to stay perfectly jumping in line with the grid all the time. And when you hit the wall, you're going to get some problem. Hopefully this shows us the problem. But you're going to get a problem that looks something like this. So I'm moving 7, and I'm hitting the key right now, and I'm not moving to the right. So what's going on here is it's saying, hey, check 7 pixels to the right, move me there. And if it was there, it would be overlapping a wall, so it doesn't do the movement. Now the problem with that is that's good, it did stop us, but depending on what speeds you choose, that looks a little awkward, right? Now he's not up against the wall. We want the player to be up against the wall, whether he's moving 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, who knows what you're going to do in your game. So this code is a little tricky for a beginner. It uses a while loop. But let's stick a while loop in here, and let's take care of the situation where I would be hitting the wall. So here I'm basically saying if I'm not meeting the wall, it's okay to move. Otherwise, I know I'm hitting a wall. What am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to move 7. That would take me into the wall. But what I can do is I can move to the contact point, which basically means I want to nudge the player up as close as I can possibly get until I just be hitting the wall, right? And stop at the edge. Now, GameMaker actually does have a script for this, but I don't like to show the kids too many of these scripts because they should understand what's going on. Okay, we've learned loops, so here goes my loop. I'm going to say while. Whoops. While not meeting a wall, move 1. Now, I need to close off that else right there. So there's the else, right? So basically what this means is this. If you haven't done a while loop, it just keeps doing the code as long as this is true. So what I'm saying here is I'm saying while I'm not meeting a wall, 1 pixel to the right. Yeah, just a tiny little amount. That's good. There's no wall 1 pixel to the right. Then advance 1 pixel to the right. And then come back up. If I wouldn't be meeting a wall 1 pixel to the right, move another 1 pixel to the right. If I wouldn't be meeting a pixel to the right, advance another pixel to the right. Well, I know I'm going to hit a wall. This if statement failed because I would have been hitting a wall 7 pixels over. So I know this while loop will eventually hit the wall in 6 or less runs. But when it's finished, it'll just stop running, so this while loop ends. And when that while loop ends, I know my character will be right against the wall. So let's check this out. We're going to see this in gravity too when we hit our heads and when we drop to the ground. We're never going to drop to the ground perfectly, right? So we're going to have to use the while loop. So let's nudge, and you don't even notice with your eyeball, right? It works perfectly. So let's see that again. I should have a little restart in here. But you see that again. You can't even see it happen. That while loop takes place all in that one step, right? It doesn't keep going every single step. It just happens, and I'm right against the wall. So remember, this just goes 5, 4, 6 times, whatever it is, and he's up against the wall. Then this step event ends, and the player's nudged up, and your eyeball doesn't really notice any difference, right? And there you go. So this is good for going to the right. Now I'm going to put this back. I'll leave it 7 for now, why not? But I'll leave it 7 for this just to show that it's always working. But this was going to the right. Now obviously to go to the left, you could do the same thing here, but you're just going to copy paste the code. Now there is a way to make this more efficient than just a pure copy paste of everything, right? But for beginner here, we're going to leave it like this. The only difference is this will be minus, this will be minus, and I got to check to the left and go to the left. And then I should have left and right code working beautifully with nudging. And then if you stick around for after this quick test, what I'll do is I'll show you how to make that a little more efficient, just in case you're into that stuff. How can we make it only one chunk of code? So here we go. Right works, nudges us up. Left works, nudges us. So it's perfect, right? Now what I'll do here is that's good for now. If you still want to stick around for the extra 2 minutes here, watch my quick little change. The next video I'm going to be talking about gravity. So we'll make them fall down, jump up, hit their head, bonk down, and we're going to be doing the exact same idea, but of course we got to figure out how to get gravity in there. So how do we get this so it's a bit better? Well, let's do this. Let me take this part out. And let me just do this up here. You'll see the change. If the keyboard is pressed to the right, so check this out. Variable. XD, X distance. Okay, how far do they want to move in the X direction? Okay, XD is 0. If they're pressing right, XD goes up by 7. If keyboard check, VK left, XD minus equals 7. Now the nice thing about this is if they're holding both keys down, well, I've started at 0 for XD. So if they hold both keys down, I add 7, I minus 7, I'm back to 0. There'll be no movement. But either way, if you pretend they're holding it right here, then XD goes up from 0 to 7, so my number is going to be 7. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace my 7 with XD. If they were holding left, XD would go down by 7, so it would be negative 7, and it would be X plus negative 7. Pretty good. So this here should just be XD. It'll either be plus 7 or minus 7. This here, oh, what do I do there? Well, this is where we have a little trick. Okay, I know I'm either doing minus 1 or plus 1, right? And I could do an if statement. I could say, well, if XD is bigger than 0, run this loop. Else, run the loop that does the minus 1. But there's a nice little trick you can do if you know your math here. And the little trick is, instead of moving by 1, I can move by the sign of XD. The sign function takes your number and it sends back either negative 1, 0, or positive 1. So if you have a positive number, it sends back positive 1. If you have a negative number, it sends back negative 1. And if your number is 0, it sends back 0. So let's say XD was 7. Then this will be the sign of 7, which is 1. So you're doing the plus 1 loop. If XD was negative 7, the sign of negative 7 will be negative 1. And you'll be going X minus 1 and running the minus 1 loop. So let's do that there. And that's pretty good. The rest of the code here I've blanked out, but this one loop now does left and right. It's sort of nice because then if you ever go to change your code, oh, I don't need that there. I don't need that there. I can bring these over. Perfect. I'll leave that there. So not bad. So this one little section now does left and right. Let's test it out, see if it works. And we cross our fingers here. And if it does, that's the end of the video, and you can decide if you want that efficient version or not. Next video, we'll do gravity. All the way over, nudged. All the way over, nudged. Beautiful. Perfect. Thanks for watching. If you like, give a like on the button or a subscribe. See you in the next one for gravity.